I'm photographing in the remote wilderness of British Columbia, Canada. I've been on some amazing adventures these last few months. This is another one of those adventures where I see sea otters, whales, and wolves, traveling by air, water, and land to some of the most remote and breathtaking places. If you love stories from the edge of the wild, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future adventures. And with that, let's get out there. Good morning, everyone. It's early this morning. It's just after 5 o'clock and heading out to photograph some more wildlife. Yesterday was incredible. We saw some wolves. We anchored the boat and just got in position and photographed wolves for a few hours. But we're going to head out again today, and the wind is supposed to be a lot less. So we're going to go to a few other spots. Plan is to still get to this location at low tide. Low tide is important because that's when the wolves come out and they do their perimeter hunt along the beach in search of food. So with that, we are out on the water, and it was a very foggy and gray start to the day. Calm waters, but this will change later on. The wind really picks up and it gets pretty nasty. Now, since this morning started off calm, we decided to look for humpback whales. There was also some great opportunities to take landscape photos. I love this shot, and this next one was kind of cool, like an island in the clouds. Now, it didn't take too long to spot our first couple of humpback whales. They didn't put their fluke up in the air nearly as much as what we were hoping. This one just dove, but yet we didn't see that tail. So later on, we're going to be hunting for some of those shots. And then we also saw some sea otters. So wildlife was out. It was a good day to get out and start shooting. But I think our main focus was going to be to find that cove, settle in, and hopefully get another chance to photograph wolves. Now this that just came up out of the water, and right here, this is a Dall's porpoise.
That's cool. So they can swim 55 kilometers an hour. So we arrive, we are wanting to see some wolves, then we saw some humpbacks, then we saw some Dall's porpoise breaching here. It's a nice calm day. And then Andrew saw one of the humpbacks breach, but behind us. So there's activity here, and there's food all around. Oh, there's a couple more blows. 1, 2, and a lot of birds, and you can see the fish too. So we're in a good spot. Not as much fog in this area. Beautiful backdrop. More. Okay, time to grab the camera.
Now, if you're out on the water and you don't seem to see any whales, just look for the birds. The birds will find where the bait ball is, and you can see all of these fish kind of swirling together. This is herring, and they're all balled together into what we call a bait ball. And of course, the birds see this, and they dive in, and they're grabbing as many fish as they can before either the eagles swoop in or the whales just jump in after it. Now, herring form bait balls as a defense mechanism against predators. By schooling tightly together in a spherical shape, they reduce individual risk and create confusion, making it harder for predators to target a single fish. But as you can see here, the eagle just comes down and just snatches, sometimes up to like 5 or 6 in one catch.
The whale's coming over this way. See all the bird activity? Right there, so that's what we're going to be looking for.
Now, after photographing and filming whales, we focused on some sea otters and some nearby kelp beds. And I'm going to have my wife do a little bit more explanation into the life of a sea otter.
Sea otters live its life almost entirely at sea. They feed primarily on sea urchins and mollusks, and they're highly social animals seen in rafts laying on their backs and holding hands. In contrast to whales and seals, which rely on their blubber for insulation, the sea otter relies on its well-groomed fur with many tiny air bubbles trapped in it. They have the thickest fur of any living animal, which is partly why their pelts were so highly prized in the fur trade.
Can you say sea otters?
See, the otters are everywhere.
Yes. And then what happened?
They die.
How'd they die? Hunted?
Hunted, yeah. Yeah,
Do you like sea otters?
yeah.
Why?
I like them. Cute. Cute, fluffy. Okay, bye-bye.
In 1929, the last Canadian sea otter was recorded. Without the otters to keep the urchin numbers in check, urchins grazing has wiped out critical kelp forests. This area is described as sea urchin barrens. And this has had ecosystem-wide effects, as the kelp forest is home to so many other species. In the 1970s, the Canadian government reintroduced sea otters. This was originally a population of 89 sea otters. By 1993, the population had grown to 900, and today the population is estimated around 8,000 sea otters. It has been such a unique experience to witness this come back personally. When I grew up on Vancouver Island, sea otters were more rare than any of our whales, and today I have seen them by the hundreds in big rafts holding hands, being the social creatures that they are. Of course, now that their numbers are skyrocketing, we're going to have to relearn how to coexist with them.
Now I'm at eye level with the sea otters. I'm laying on the floor of the boat, and we have the side that's open, kind of where when you dock, you open up the side so people can walk on and off the boat, and then you can close that door and lock it up. So we open that up so you can get right low to the water. And this perspective is really nice, seeing the background and the waves, but it is extremely hard to get the right focus on the eyes or on the head of the sea otter at this angle. Now, no trip out on the water is complete without the smells and the sounds of the sea lions. And this colony was rambunctious, they were cool to watch, and they were really nice to photograph. You got the rocks, you got the trees, the green trees in the background, and they were nicely laid out on the rocks. Some of them were looking at one another, others were kind of biting and moving around. It is hard to get a simplistic shot. I'm always kind of looking for a big dominant male to ground the image so that the viewer doesn't get lost in all of these sea lions. There's some direction, but nonetheless, they're always fun to film and photograph when we're out there.
Now our low tide shifts about 45 minutes later into the day, so we got to explore a little bit more out into the open ocean. But once we got to where the cove was to lay anchor, this wolf was already there, almost waiting for us. I just love the shared space of wildlife. You got a blue heron here, and like I said in my last video, is ravens. This wolf looks right up at the raven, almost to say, do you see what I'm seeing? You got some humans here while I'm trying to find food. And a lot of the times you pick out the ravens to see where the wolves are at. Now I tried getting some audio of the wolf. It is quite far away and I'm zoomed way in. So the sounds that really were picked up is the boats, the water slapping against it, us shuffling around. So I don't really get any clear sounds of the howl, but this wolf was with us for quite some time, howling and barking and communicating with what I'm assuming is the other wolves in its pack. Now I'm filming with my Nikon Z9. I've got a 400mm prime lens with a 1.4 teleconverter attached to it. So this gives me 560 mils of reach. But in video, since I have such a large sensor that can record 8K video, I can actually crop in 2.3 times and still get 4K of resolution. So that's what I'm doing here. Anytime I'm close up, I'm actually cropping in and recording the footage. 4K, sometimes in slow motion, to get this footage. The wolf knows we're here. We came in, and it was just down along the beach here. top, just howling. Just up on the rocks. So we're hoping another one's gonna come in. Maybe. Where there's one, there's more.
Sea wolves are waddies. A howl, yeah. It's howling. Yeah. A water, yeah. Yeah, fluffy. It's brown. Well, it's brown.
Yep, it's brown, and I'm not sure if there's really anything else to add to what my son said. This wolf just hung out with us during this time, and then after a while, it slowly walked off to a different beach. Now this wolf is different than the two that we saw the previous day. I put out a whole other video. If you haven't seen the first part of this, I'd encourage you to take a look at that video. I share information about the sea wolves, their numbers, and the conservation efforts to help protect sea wolves, and their diet is mostly seafood. I think it's really important that if you are going to be going to beaches and coastlines that have wolf dens nearby, that you just pick up after yourself. Don't leave out food. Please, please, please don't feed the wolves for any sort of photos or photo opportunities. Baiting just is not cool, and it puts these wolves into a really, really, really bad space where they're seeing humans as a food source. And this is where you have to euthanize wolves, because they'll become aggressive and see humans as food sources. Now here's a video that I did last year where I flew to a remote beach and I photographed and filmed a bunch of wolves there. We had 7 different wolf encounters. Now what was very, very important is that all of our food, when we were done eating, we would wash our dishes off in the ocean. Everything got packed into dry bags, buckled, and hung way up in the tree. And then when we were done our trip, everything went with us. We took it on the plane, took it home, so that there was no smells, no scent, really just footprints that were there. And you can have these close interactions because we're in their world. They're going to be coming across the beach and seeing us, but we don't want them to associate us with food, which is why we need to be very, very careful when we're out there. So if you want to check that out, this is what the thumbnail looks like. There's a 2-part series for that video as well. Now I hope you're subscribed because the adventure continues. We saw wolves this day and the day before, and then the following day, which is going to have to be in another episode, we see grizzly bears, coastal grizzly bears here in the Great Bear Rainforest. And we had some amazing encounters, some really close encounters with both mama and a cub. So stay tuned for those episodes. And if you don't know about my workshops and you're interested in joining me, I got a grizzly bear workshop in the fall. And then next year, I've got some other workshops that are just being posted. Thank you for watching and sharing your feedback in the comments, and I hope to see you on the next episode. Ciao.